Hello traders, this is Alex with the COTlive.com website. The other day we reviewed the master chart on two stocks, two commodities. We did beans, copper, and IBM and Newmont Mining on the master chart, which you can go review. And we're going to follow up on those same commodities and stocks using the Excel squaring calculator, right? This one is the master chart, which square 9. This one does the squaring of the range. Now, as an example, here's a bean chart, and this is the range that we're going to be review. Several of the ranges that we're going to be. Here's the low in 1999, which is 401.5, and this was the all-time high. Now, this wasn't the all-time low, but it was the lowest low we've had in generations, right? So, and this was the all-time high. So those are the one range that we're going to plug in. And I always square from the low, if it's the older one, to the high, or from the high to the low, right? Now, basically, what you're doing, right, is this program will basically study the cycle in eighths of this range, current out into the future, right? So depending on the speed that you plug in, you're going to be running this square out into the future. Let me see. This program actually has a squaring part of it, right? There is your square of eighths, right? Divided into eighths, and then into the future, right? It already does that for you. Now that isn't a 1-to-1 speed. That's just the actual square of the range. But you can see that's kind of what we're going to be doing, but based on an actual program, which will be accurate. And then what I like to do is accumulate dates to find things that are a little more, with accumulation, it gives you more confidence that there's more than one thing coming in there, right? So sometimes I go and put all the data I possibly can, and you can see that I've done the beans in the past, so I've saved everything. This is just a save folder that I can add to. Of course, we won't be doing that, so you can learn how to use this program, but these are all of course, there's your main page, the input square. This will be where the prices will be saved, the data that we'll be saving, a worksheet. And then there's a advanced listing that'll break it down. So that's kind of, and this is all the inputs that I plugged in over the past. Well, I try not to delete it. I'll leave all this up. So again, if you want to study Occidental, right, you can plug those in, or NatGath. I mean, you can go back through and find those dates of highs and lows. So first thing you want to do, of course, is clear it out. Here's clear all entries, and what I like to do is make sure that you click this a couple times, and we know we're going to go from this low, so you click that a couple times, and this is your speeds, right? 1 by 1, basically a 1 by 2, 1 by 4, so on and so forth, right? Or if you have to go faster, you can do it that way as well. But anyway, I like to clip, and all these are saved right here, so you can tell what you've clicked in, and then you type in your low date, your low price, your high price, or your high date and your high price, and of course you can type in beans, soybeans, whatever you want. That's the first thing we're going to do. So once you get that done, what my goal is, and the trick that I've learned for this program, is to try to keep in this range in here somewhere. So let's find a speed that gets us in that range. Here's 2000, because I don't want just, if you do a 1-to-1, you're only going to get 1, 2, 3, maybe. Yeah, you get 3 pricing. That's it. a time. So I want more than that. I would like to have 5 to 8. Um, so when I research it, I can plug it into the chart. Now, again, you can just copy paste this into your, let's say you're doing a newsletter or something. You can save this actual right here, and this is what the program will be saving. But the program saves 3 lines. So like here, here, and these 3 lines. So it'll save these 3 lines based on this data here. Now, these will be important in the advanced search. Right now, it's not important on this end, so I'm going to keep this out into like 2030, get it out there a little bit. But this date's kind of important. Let's change the speed. Yeah, here's one. It gives you some dates. So let's, 2000. I made little quick links here that, again, you could type that date in, which I'm going to do right now. All right, so there's that, and you, again, because we're going to save this line, and this line. So again, I want some out in the future, so I don't have to keep doing this. At least I got a year and a half or so before I have to go back in and redo it because I ran out of time. So anyway, once you figure out that, you click the save folder. Now this saves the pricing, right? You can see these are the actual pricing right here. This is your square, your eighths, right, of price. It divides it into eighths. So that does that there, and then you begin your search and save, and it automatically does all that, and it saves these dates again that we wanted, right? 2023. Stinking phone always goes off. Yeah, I mean, again, there is the price, and this is the time. So here's your first eighth, right? And it goes out. So again, we got the main line for our research part, which was 2023. And then it goes out in the future ways. Now these dates will be saved, and then we sort them into an advanced sort later on. But that's what you do. Now what you go in, once you have the first parameter set in, you don't have to click this pricing again when you change, when you don't change the data up here. Okay, now we're going to go calendar days. And you can see that is faster, right? Because there's more dates. So we got to slow that down a little bit. Let's put in a half speed. And you can see that this is the line we want. So again, you can type in May 28th, 2022. Or, again, January 1's fine, right? So I've got quick buttons here you can click. And that puts in January 1. Now that'll then copy these 3 lines, right, in the program. So that's kind of the trick. Again, you don't need to click this. Again, we already did that because the pricing didn't change. So you click that. Now you go to the weekly, and of course that's a lot faster. So let's break it down into eighths. And that's pretty good. We're going to go with that. Let's put in 2022. And let's go monthly. And once you get used to this, and I'm kind of stumbling around trying to explain it, I've got it such the monthly is, of course, a lot faster. So we'll just type in the lowest setting I got, which is 16ths, right? So, but 2021 is what we need. If you don't do that, it won't pick it up. So you want to make sure, or you do it too late, 2000, it won't show up either, right? So it's kind of key to get these. Now this goes way out there, but then click that so it saves it. So the first stretch here on these buttons that we clicked are all right here, and you can see, it lists them monthly, weekly, calendar day, market day, and these are the dates. Again, these will all get sorted into an advanced sort. Okay, now, since we have that, now let's square it from the high, right? So we're going to go down from the high to the low. Now that one isn't, to me, is makes as much accurate sense, but it does. A lot of people do it. So, and I'm definitely going to do it on this since we're only having a couple inputs. Hang on. I screwed it up. 401.5. Squaring from high. So again, we got that. It's going to be much faster in speed. We're going to start out here with a market day. That puts us right here. This is May 6th. This is fine. So we're going to use 2022. Again, we don't need to click this, right, because we haven't changed the pricing. All right, so now we're going to click calendar days. And again, it shows up right here if you clicked it. And that's perfectly fine. We don't need to change that. And then weekly, let's put it quarter speed. Eighths, okay. Eighths are fine. 2022 is fine. And then we're going to go monthly. And then you click the probably the lowest one or the fastest one. And 2019 is what we need to plug in, right? Because this one, we want this line because this is our part of our research, right? We want 2023. So, and then you click that. All right, now when you're, again, Gann used to square from 0 at the important dates. So we're going to square from the low. And then once you click that again, get it reset. But now we're going to square from the low 0, right, to the high. So this will automatically change this input to 0, basically. It's not real complicated. But now we've changed the price structure, right? We want to save that. And then we want to see where we land here. We want to probably speed that up to a half. 2020. Again, once you get this, it's quick, right? I'm kind of stumbling through it, trying to figure out how to tell you how it works. Here's the calendar day. This is fine. 2021 is what we need to plug in to save those 3 lines, right? That's the calendar day. Let's go to weekly. Again, it doesn't hurt it to click it several times. 2021. And that's pretty much all you do, right? You go through all these, you plug in the data. Again, it's accurate. I made sure that we want 2022. I made sure that it's accurate. Again, the market days are a little tricky, right? Because I use market days without holidays, by the way, because again, you really can't calculate that. Of course, they seem like they keep adding holidays all the time. So I just took the 5-day, took out the weekends, basically. Okay, so we got all that done, and this is all the data that we're going to plug in. Now, you can square from the high to 0. I'm not going to do that. So that's the one input, right? Now let's go and change this from the high of 17. First, let's just kind of reset everything. Now we're going to use this high, 1794, down to the low of 2019, which was what was it? I'm looking 780.5. And let's plug in the date. Again, you got to be accurate on this part because the math is all based on the actual. If you screw up, you redo it. Again, don't take long. So, and again, this button you can save the inputs for future reference. I just clicked on it, and you can see it saved that. And you see I got stuff I've left in there. The people to use, but that way if it's an important input I might use again and again, I've got some place where it saves it. Now it also saves everything, every keystroke here. So but anyway, let me see where we're at. So we're doing it from the high down to 0. We've reset everything, squaring from high, right? That's what we want to do first. 2023, let's go half speed. That's perfectly fine, I believe. We get 1, 2, 3, 4. We get 5 dates in 2023 for the research part of it. So we want 2022, which is fine. Now again, we've got a different price structure, so we want to save that for the people that like to look at pricing. And then we add this to the sort. Alright, so now we're going to do calendar day, 2023 still in the mix. We still want to keep 2022 in the front. Now we don't have to click the price, right? Because we've already got it saved once. Weekly, let's speed that up to an 8 speed. Yeah, there we go. 2022 is what we want to plug in. Still got that in there. Monthly. I usually just go immediately to the fastest one I got. We want to go 2020 there, right? So that changes that. And you save that. So that did all those. Again, inputted them in our data saved. You can see we're starting to get a few accumulations going on. And then the advanced sort will sort everything and categorize it into years. So you can then plot it onto the chart. So that's the soybeans. Now we're going to square from the high to 0. I'm not going to, well, I should square from the low, I guess. Again, 2019. You can see that you're, again, since it's so quick, right? 2019 is not that old on the scheme of things. Now, we don't need to click this, but we do need to click this. 2019 I need to put in. And then calendar days, we'll just keep that same in there. Weekly, let's go 2021. Monthly, 2022 is fine. Alright, so we did all that. Now we're going to square from the high to 0. Now again, it changes. The low to 0, it's squared from the high to that price, so that's perfectly fine. That's what we want. Let's go here, let's go here. Let's try a half speed. Not enough. Let's go to a quarter speed. That's going to be fine. 2021. Now again, since we've changed the price structure, you want to save that pricing to the subfolder. And then click that. Now we're going to go calendar day. That's fine. 2022 is what we want. And again, this program only saves 3 lines. That's why you got to monkey with this a little bit. Otherwise, if you saved all this, man, the data burn. It'd take forever to save the folder. So it just speeds it up. You don't need all that data anyway, right? You don't need 2040. I mean, I won't be alive that long. But So then we did the calendar day, and if you forget if you did it or not, just look back um, on your data saved. And last one we did was calendar day. So now we would need to do the weekly. I'm gonna know we're gonna have to speed that up. We want 2021 in there. Monthly, we're gonna take the fastest one, 2022. All right, so we got that all set, saved, and that's all we're going to input for this little quick lesson. And so here is our pricing, right? So you can save these, put them on your chart. Maybe, again, you can see that I've got them listed here. So when I put them on the chart, then you can sort. I made a quick button here, so you can see these are all the prices sorted that are all these, right? And then again, you can see where the areas are at currently. Soybeans March is trading at 12.64, so we're kind of right in here. We just came off the low. The high was up there. Anyway, that's that, and then we go to the data saved. Now this is where the program is, to me, important. You did all that work, you plugged it in, took probably 5 minutes or 10, if you're a newbie, and you click this advanced listing. Now what that's going to do is save everything. Oops, let's clear that for a second. I forgot to change. Now we got to go back and change this to 2023, and 3 years out it'd be 24, 25, 26. We want to go to 3 years. All right, and then go back to the worksheet, to the advanced, and then click the advanced sort. And this will sort it then into the year, right? These are this is 2023. These are all the squares and subsquares of the range. So again, just those 3 data points gave all these dates. Currently it's January 5th, so we're kind of on a Friday, 2024. So we're right in this little zone. You can see it gives you some duplicates. Now sometimes that's good, sometimes that's a fault of the program, right? Because again, when you're doing weeklies and calendar and market day, they'll line up, right? Or monthlies, weeklies, yeah. So, but that's okay. I tried to figure out a way to correct that, but then I thought, you know what, that's important, just as important, maybe more important. So when you get some of those are based on actual, just happen to be, but sometimes it's because it's a weekly on a monthly, right? And it's giving you the same dates calculated out in the future. So that's the data. You can input that on a chart, and I will here in a second. Let me put these dates on a chart. I'm just going to go probably back to October on maybe a July bean or something, and I'll be right back with you. Hang on. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and put them on the March bean chart. All these dates right here, again, these are our folders, or our sorted advanced sort. So these will be the dates that we're plugging in up to current, which is, today is January 5th, Friday. So I just went ahead and I'm going to scroll through these. You can see we had 3 of them come in. Now again, you didn't know that was a high, right? You might have been, you might thinking to yourself, "Ooh, it's a nice break, bear trap, potential bear trap." It ended up kind of being both. We had a couple dates here. Now again, this was, you didn't know if that was a high or low yet. Of course you do when you're plugging it in. But it's, it worked decent. Kind of missed this high, but picked the swing low. Missed that by a day. Picked this one pretty good with 4 of them. As we come into December, these are the ones, these are trickier than you think, but these are the ones I like, with a little gap. You got timing, right? Again, this is only 3 data points. So we're pulling all this out of there. And again, it's mathematical, which is key, right, in my mind. And here's another, I think, an easy one, right? You went up here, didn't cover the close, had two of them coming in, kind of a weak stick, and it ended up dropping down. Here's Christmas time, right? This last Christmas, we had two of them come in. Um, and I've noticed over the years that the squares, the master chart even, if I'm going to miss the low or high, it's going to be by the day before. Now, why that is, people are anticipating, I guess, maybe. So I always aware of that. Again, the nice secondary low, ran a lot of stops. Business was getting done. Had a year-end pop, right? This is December 28th. This is the 29th, and this is the first day of the trade of the year. You can see it kind of picked this whole swing out. Now, again, I like this one because it's a gap. Gaps are important. I think they're more important when you have timing than an outside day up or reversals and stuff like that. And this is up to our current, right? We had one yesterday. It was an outside down day. Again, we kind of assumed it's a high because it did make a lower low today, this morning. Now, Monday or today, right? Because, again, you look at the dates are oh, heck, that's 2025. Wow, sorry. I was in the wrong year when I was showing you. There we go. But you can see that we got one on the 4th, which is yesterday, and then we got one on the 6th, which falls on the weekend, two actually, and then one on the 8th, so that's a Monday. My always thought is I put them all into Monday, right? Unless Friday is a big weird day, right? So then you kind of know that it's going to be important. So we're coming into a pretty important zone. You can see these multiples. Now, when you do a lot of data points, these onesies aren't that a big a deal. You're looking for this accumulation. You'll have 12, 13 at some important high or low, maybe even 20. I mean, it really is amazing how all the data points come together. So now again, you go to the all-time low. What is it, 191 something? Back in 1950 or whatever. You plug that data in, and you can square that with the all-time high. Now again, that's a wide square. It doesn't matter, right? It's a data point. So now I was gonna do the other stuff. I think I'm just gonna leave it here with the beans. Well, maybe I'll pause it and give you. I'll give you like IBM. IBM's a good one, right? Because it's got some data. Some of these newer stocks just don't have enough data to really square out ranges, or doing the master chart and trying to figure out data points that way. So I'm going to go ahead and probably do the IBM, and then I won't show you how I plugged it in. I'll just show you the results on the chart. Be right back. Okay, I plugged in the data. These are the data points I used. 215.90 high. Now, as you can see, I multiplied it times 10, both the highs and the lows. So, again, that's something that I just know, because again, if it's easier to do it with 4 data points. It broadens it out a little bit. Doesn't really change the math. So let's review the advanced listing. Let me plug in the chart. Now I kept from the other day, I did the master chart. Those dates are plotted with a dot, and then I used the X for the ones that we're doing right now on the squaring of the range. So again, here's our first data point, and you can see that this big day had three of them coming in, and you can see that the master chart had a date here, there was a date on this gap. Now again, you didn't know that was a high or low, so I kept it above the chart. And it missed this low, but it kind of caught the next day. The master chart had a date coming in on the 23rd. Two of them looks like. Oh yeah. And then we also had, to go along with that, we had not only the master chart, but the Gann's squaring the range. All calculator had one here and one here. So it kind of picked this low. Again, I'll just go through it. And you can see we had this 1 day break with basically a reversal back up. Master chart and two Excel squaring of the range calculators. And here's a high, here's a low. Missed this high, but it caught this weird anomaly here a couple weeks ago. And again, kind of picked this low with both the master chart and the range calculator. Another one here. Pick this high with an outside day. Down, follow through. So again, confirm that. So that's plugging in all the data on both the master chart and the square the range calculator. Daggum phone. 7 in the morning and it's going off. So that's how it works. Again, we just plugged in this data onto the chart. Again, if you're a trend follower, again, no big deal, right? But when you get these accumulations, you take note. Maybe use some options if you're concerned it's a high against your long position. Buy puts, right? If it's an uptrend. If you're looking for something to buy and you're looking for the dip, again, these will definitely help you out. Not a big fan of picking bottoms, but it can be fruitful with, again, using options in particular. So anyway, that's how it works. It's a simple format. I won't plug in the other two data points. I've already wasted a half hour here, so I'm going to let you go. This is Alex signing off from the cotlive.com website. Have a good trading rest of your year.